All right, get your flashlights and control panels ready because we just got our first official teaser trailer for Blumhouse's Five Nights at Freddy's movie based on the wildly popular video game series by the same name, and this looks to be nailing everything the fans have been clamoring for. Obviously, we're going to be going over everything in this teaser, small Easter eggs, game references, cameos, and where we think this story is going to take things. But also, we're going to be touching on some of the leaks and what we've heard was featured in that bigger trailer compared to this first teaser. But no worries, we'll warn you if there's any sort of borderline spoilers coming up. So with all of that out of the way, thank you so much for clicking this. I'm your host, Jared. Now let's get into Five Nights at Freddy's. So before we jump into the full breakdown of this trailer, I'm sure a lot of people haven't a damn clue what Five Nights at Freddy's is, so here's just a brief overview of what's going down. So Five Nights at Freddy's is based on a video game series by the same name. I'm assuming this is kind of pulling mainly from the first game, but we'll see. But yeah, let's focus on that. Where you play as a lone security guard named Mike Schmidt, who's just started working at Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. Think like a nightmarish Chuck E. Cheese Showbiz Pizza, or the one I grew up with, the Pizza Peddler.
Oh, Jen. Hi, Jen.
Hi.
I brought your food for you.
A thing of nightmares. Anyway, though, all of the animatronics are haunted because their creator, William Afton, unalived several children, and their spirits now live in these machines. Now, each night they come alive, with Mike having to survive until the morning, using various monitors, controls, and traps to ward off and avoid these demented animatronics. The previous night guard guides Mike, leaving behind kind of voice memos and clues, and if Mike is caught before the morning, the evil animatronics try to horrifically stuff his body into a spare animatronic suit that's just laying around. 2021's Willy's Wonderland is, I don't know, the closest live-action interpretation of this video game so far. Good, great, grand, all caught up. Now let's get into this actual trailer. So everything opens with what sounds like a voiceover of Matthew Lillard's William Afton, giving a bit of the backstory of the rundown restaurant, saying how the owner isn't ready to let things go, as we can see a closed sign leaning over the shape of the Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, and in the background we can also see the entrance along with a still intact sign above it. Now I'm wondering if we're going to be getting some flashback sequences sprinkled in throughout this movie as Mike, the security guard, learns more information about this joint, or maybe a cold open showing how things led to this closure and the incidents with these children. Speaking of Mike, we see him pull up to this pizza joint, presumably on his first night on the job. Mike is being played by Josh Hutcherson, with the character hopefully being fleshed out a bit more than the games. He's had a tough past, which obviously leads him to take, this sketchy job, and also has an inquisitive knack to him, which means he'll be digging into all of the clues and the truth throughout this movie. It appears Mike, though, is not alone, as he's accompanied by a young girl. Now, at first I thought that this might be his daughter or something, but then after some more digging, this is actually Abby Schmidt, his 10-year-old sister, played by Piper Rubio. It's mentioned that Mike had to step in as more of a parent or guardian for Abby because their parents went missing, and she's kind of more creative, brave, and like Mike, inquisitive. I kind of like that they're going to include more characters, ramping up the tension a bit more, and having them potentially in different areas of the restaurant dealing with different threats at the time. But it sounds like she's supposed to kind of just sit still, sleep, color, stay out of the way, all of that, blah, blah, blah. But you know damn well with her being a little girl, she's going to be the first to see the animatronics move, with Mike claiming that it's just her imagination. There's some brief shots of the inside of the restaurant as we get, the employee-only door with it looking a bit different from the games, the edge of the lit-up Freddy Fazbear's Pizza sign, which again looks similar to the games, and our first look at Mike Schmidt, he honestly just looks like Josh Hutcherson. I can't tell from this shot, but I'm curious if they're slapping some blue contacts in his eyes, because the only characteristic that we know from the game about Mike is that he has blue eyes, and that's when he's jammed into the animatronics in the game over screen. In the security room, Mike is fiddling with the power, and we can see some of the restaurant mascots in a grid on the door behind him. Even the controls and monitor layout are similar format to that of the games, with the training tape labeled Mike sitting on top of the VCR. The training video is very much that cheesy 80s, 90s tone, a bit more upbeat and colorful than the initial training tutorial from the first game. This appears to be Kat Connor Sterling's character slowly walking Mike through the backstory of the brighter days of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. Now, I'm really digging this because it's painting the uneasy parallel of this fun, bright, happy environment against the dark, scary current condition that it's in. The door buzzer is a heavier, much more industrial version than the way that it sounds in the games when the door lights are buzzing, and we're introduced to yet another character from the Five Nights at Freddy's lore, Vanessa, played by Elizabeth Lale, and it looks like they might be twisting the lore a little bit with this character because in Five Nights at Freddy's Help Wanted, she was the main protagonist as a security guard, whereas here, it appears that she's more of a police officer with her alluding to knowing about them, aka the animatronics. So I'm wondering if they're baking it in here that she's already kind of investigated these things and is somewhat going to be more of a mentor to Mike's character. There's drawings on the fridge, which I'm assuming Abby draws at some point, showing us Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, Foxy, along with some of the ghost children, which I'm guessing that Abby saw and Mike just doesn't believe her at all. Because the children's eyes and sinister smiles tell me these aren't the same happy ones from that show up in the training video. Again, I'm saying Abby warns Mike, with Mike just brushing it off as childhood nonsense until he starts to investigate things, which looks like to be the case here until he does what he's not instructed to, and of course falls asleep. Obviously, this is a big old no-no and causes everything to go haywire, with Mike's security monitors glitching out similarly to the security breach alert and so forth. But as the glitch event is happening, hardcore fans may catch the song playing on the intercom system, the March of the Toreadors, which is a much more bombastic version than the version that is played on the music box when the power goes off and Freddy is near. There's some more glimpses of the abandoned pizza joint, along with our very first look at the full-scale animatronics of Freddy and his crew. And obviously, these dudes look great. Frontman Freddy, Chica with the cupcake and Let's Eat bib looks perfect, and Bonnie with their guitar. And a big old malfunction appears to happen with Mike throwing the power. This is where all of the hardcore fans will go bananas because Mike flips through all of the security monitors similar to that of the game, but the same March of the Toreadors plays with a much more cartoony, almost carnival-like tone to each of the notes, which I gotta say really adds to the overall creepiness of this trailer, as Vanessa fills in Mike about all of the missing children and the history and the building of the animatronics. I gotta say, barely showing the kids being kidnapped or snatched up via silhouettes makes it feel like we the viewers, are also watching through security monitors, quickly switching between cameras, stopping like, wait, what? Did you see that? It also looks like Abby will be exploring the building while Mike is working, and she'll be the one that first stumbles upon the ghost children and can kind of see the children running away, just disappearing into thin air. So this sequence is bound to happen before the fridge painting that we saw earlier. I'm betting our initial tour of Freddy's, pizza joint will be through the eyes of her. And then a nice homage to the jump scare game over screen as we can see the animatronic's eyes in the otherwise dark corridor. Hella creepy for sure. It almost looks like there will be some time jumps like I mentioned earlier, as there's this group of 4 adults that I'm assuming are aggressively breaking into the rundown pizza place to find their missing children, or at least clues about them. If so, they are definitely fleshing out the backstory and lore surrounding the haunted animatronics a bit more, and each of the kids in the haunted animatronics are going to eliminate these adults, which I think flashbacks are probably the way to go in this movie. The creepy thing is, though, some of this looks to be taking place outside of the pizza joint, which I'm wondering if, in fact, this will take place over multiple shifts, with Mike, where night 1, he learns of the tutorials, night 2, weird things start to happen, night 3, Vanessa shows up, filling Mike in about the backstory, and so forth, because Mike is clearly exploring some sort of wooded area with a symbol of a rabbit being drawn in the dirt, potentially referencing Bonnie, or maybe even Springtrap from the looks of it later in this trailer. The visuals of the 4 missing children here surprisingly share characteristics to each of the animatronics that they later possess. Starting from the right, or I guess the left of the screen, the boy is wearing bunny ears and a purple shirt, referencing Bonnie the rabbit. Next is the orange shirt with what looks like a hook for a hand, and of course is referencing Foxy, tying in with more of the pirate-like characteristics. The next kid is wearing a similar hat to the frontman Freddy wears in the band. And lastly, the little girl has the same color palette as Chica with her shirt almost kind of looking like a bib. Now, who knows if this is why the animatronics have these features or if it's just a cool characteristic choice. Either way, this is our main four from the first game. Anyway, it sounds and looks like the main goal of the animatronics seems to be capturing Abby and having her join the ranks of the other four haunted children. And with the drawing showcasing that 5 children are holding hands with a larger bunny, I have a feeling that this bunny is in fact referencing Springtrap that we, again, see later in this trailer. And of course, if you know your Freddy's lore, this one is a resurrected form of William Afton. So it looks like this will be how they implement Matthew Lillard's character a little bit more into the story. And I'm sure that we'll get some backstory on him and why he eventually goes mad. But yeah, this bunny drawing combined with the 5th animatronic spells this out. So the writers are definitely pizza picking, not cherry picking, pieces of lore here from, the different various games, not just the first game. Here, Mike looks to be caught similar to the games where one of the animatronics pops out and gives like a player a game over screen, but instead is trapped to a chair in some sort of a torture device. Now, I'm curious if this is newer stuff added combined with the sister location animatronic features from that game, because each of those, I guess, has been said to have child-luring features to them, and the grinding gears could also be how those children perished. Either way, I like how the visuals mirror the game and also are separating itself. The trailer pretty much ends with quick flashes of events, a child being driven away, which I'm assuming is a memory of Mike as a child. Vanessa seems to be in the hospital with Mike by her side, so she'll no doubt be attacked during one of the nights, and then Mike will have to be, fending off things by himself. It looks like some flashbacks to Mike beating someone up in a fountain. Maybe this explains his backstory and why he had to take this job to begin with, along with Springtrap, who again sounds like it's being voiced by Matthew Lillard's character in Tracking Abby. Now, the final bit of this is a nice Easter egg to fans, as the taxi driver is a cameo from YouTuber Corey X Kenshin, who of course is a big fan of the franchise, streaming it, helping it grow to the cult following that it does have now. There's also been a rumor of Markiplier, who is in the similar situation, making a cameo, but we'll see if that's the case when the final film comes out. Before we wrap up, I just wanted to talk about some of the spoilers from the Freddy's games that could potentially be part of the story in this movie. So this is your spoiler warning. Check the monitors. You don't want to have a jump scare of spoilers. Okay, so in the later games, it's implied that Mike Schmidt is actually the son of the evil animatronics creator, William Afton. And part of me thinks that they are going this route with this movie, with Mike having kind of a cloudy past. Maybe he doesn't remember things, unable to remember his parents, specifically his father. And this is why Springtrap, aka William Afton, or his Transcendence form, wants Abby, because she is theoretically and actually, I guess, his daughter. So yeah, from this trailer, it looks like they are going to be pulling a whole Star Wars Empire Strikes Back, Mike, I am your father type of bomb in the third act of this movie. It would be a great twist, but hey, we'll see. Anyway, that is everything about Five Nights at Freddy's, all jam-packed into this first trailer. Please let me know how much I missed, because I've only watched friends play through these games, so my first-hand experience is very limited. But yeah, what are you most excited about, and what small details and Easter eggs do you hope make the final movie? Let us know anything and everything in the comments below. If you want something else to watch, be sure to check out some of our other cool videos right over there. Click one, clickety-clack, check the monitors, and click one. But with all of that out of the way, thank you so much for your constant support. I've been Jared. I'll see you in the next one. Take care, and peace.